go live.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Teams meeting where we are going to consider the application for a licence for a restaurant, Ruspanti of 273 Blackburn Road. That's at Edgerton. Today we have with us Mrs. Ridge, who is our Principal Democratic Officer, Patricia Klein, who is the Principal Licensing Officer, Gemma Hamer, who is our legal representative. We have the applicant, Mrs. Argentino, I believe. Are you here?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. And we have an objector. He's here, Mrs. McLaughlin, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Sitting on the panel with me, my name is Hilary Fairclough. I'm chairing this panel today. And with me is Councillor Morris and Councillor Newall. And we will be listening to today's hearing. I believe that you've all had a set of papers sent to you with the information and the protocols of this meeting. What will happen is that, first of all, we will look at the information submitted by our licensing officer. And then we may wish to ask questions, but we may not. Sometimes it is just as is in the information. And then we're going to ask the applicant to put forward any further information they wish to. And again, we all may wish to ask questions. And then the objector may wish to speak. And again, we may wish to ask questions there. When we feel that we've got enough information, you will be asked to sum up, and again we will give each person in turn an opportunity to just sum up anything that they feel that they would like to say. And then you will be asked to leave the meeting, and myself and my fellow councillors, our legal officer and our democratic service officer, will come to a decision, and that decision then will be given in writing within 5 days. So I hope that you understand that it is slightly difficult when you're doing a Teams meeting. We can't all see each other, but don't worry, just shout out if you need to speak. And I'll just go for the moment for declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest?
Yes.
Councillor Newall, Councillor Morris?
No, none from me.
None from
Thank
me,
you.
Chair.
Thank you. In that case, we will go straight to Mrs. Klein. Is there anything you want to add to the licensing application that has been submitted?
No, thank you, Chair. All the details of the application are outlined in the report, which of course everybody's had, and I've nothing further to add.
Thank you. Councillor Morris, Councillor Newall, do you have any questions on anything that's been submitted by Mrs. Klein?
No, Chair.
No, Chair.
Councillor, I'm elevating you, Mrs. McLaughlin, which may not go down very well. Is there anything that you would like to ask of what's been submitted just by the licensing officer? It's mainly factual, but if there's anything that you're unsure about?
We've got quite a few things that we just wanted to discuss, really.
Right. Well, will those things be things that we can discuss when you make your objections?
Yeah, that's fine.
Was that they're not really the things that have been put forward by Miss Klein are mainly sort of factual things.
Right.
But if there's anything that you were unsure about or wanted clarification, this would be an opportunity.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Yes.
Right. Now I'm going to ask Miss Argentina if you would like to present your application to the panel.
Yes, absolutely. I'll start sort of from a restaurant point of view. We are primarily a food-led business. We want to attract customers primarily for locally sourced, farmed and free-range produce. and ultimately a first-class dining experience. And we do understand, I am the designated premises supervisor, and we do understand the need and the ways to promote all the licensing objectives which are necessary within the environment. Regarding any representations in our application, we understand the neighbours' immediate concerns with regards to, I think primarily that was put forward, the noise pollution and the public nuisance, the behaviour. However, the finished design of the restaurant, which I did ask to elaborate on just before the meeting, I'm sure will put everybody's mind at ease. And obviously you can't see me today, and I would have liked to have done, just pointed out the lobby area within the restaurant where people will be able to wait indoors for, and it's in a soundproofed area for any taxes or collections from the restaurant outside if our customers are disabled and obviously need collecting from outside the building. Living in Edgerton myself, it's a wonderful village, and I really do hope that the restaurant will complement the area. All our food's being locally sourced from the farm, and our wine list will be locally sourced from Bolton area as well, wine suppliers. There's not really, I mean, obviously everybody's seen the application form. All I can do today is elaborate on us upholding all the objectives of the licensing with regards to the prevention of public nuisance and public safety, which I believe that is the main concern of the neighbours. We are ideally there as a food-led business and high-end food, so fine dining mainly. And I really do hope that the neighbours within the area and the people will enjoy joining us in the restaurant, as they do with the many other public houses within Edgerton as well.
Is that everything? You're all right with that? We'll ask you some questions now, if that's
Absolutely,
all right.
yes.
That's fine. Councillor Morris, do you have any questions?
Councillor Morris, you're muted.
Councillor Morris, you're on mute.
Have you heard that? No?
No.
Just that again.
Yes, please.
Right, can you tell me, you've got 30 covers, how many will the premises hold? How many have you got permission for to be on the premises at one time?
Well, this is a good question. To be honest, with the COVID-19 situation in place at the moment, we don't expect at this very moment to be having any more than 10 to 15 covers. Going forward, and we don't know what's going to happen in the near future, unfortunately, we've had to put in place a lot of screening on the actual premises. We have up to the opportunity of 30, but we're not expecting any more than that at all. 20 will probably to 25 will probably cover the restaurant in total.
Well, you said you've got the lobby where people can wait. How many will that hold, please?
The lobby itself, so basically we have the front area and the side lobby. The side lobby enters the staircase going upstairs to the restaurant, so we have to make sure that there are suitable measures for fire exit there. We've made sure there's a seating area which will hold 4 people at one time. We also have the front of the restaurant as well, which we won't be dining in. It'll only be the side. So I don't know if you could have a look on the plan, but as you walk through onto the ground floor, that front area there will also be some tables there, but primarily we won't be dining where the bar is. The bar is a separate entity there. In that situation, we have enough room to the right-hand side on the ground floor and the first floor just up above.
So how many do you expect to be in that holding area, please?
Which area, sorry?
Where people are waiting to go into the restaurant.
Well, there's ample opportunity for around 5 to 10 people to be waiting in that area.
Right. So you could have, once you're up and running, 30 in the restaurant and 10 people waiting.
I think that's always a matter of how you want to run your business. And our business certainly isn't somewhere where we want high volume. We're not primarily, as I say, we are free range produce, farming produce, and we're high end. So it wouldn't be something that we would look to do for a huge capacity within the building. We're not casual dining like the public house across the road. We are fine dining.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just getting a feel for anything could happen, and if you get very, very busy, good luck to you. But there could be 40 people in there. That's all I'm saying. Nothing else.
No, there would never be 40 people. We will be making appointments for people to come in and dine at the establishment.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Councillor Newall,
Thank
do
you.
you have any
Chair.
questions?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, Ms Sargentino, you mentioned that you'll be playing music in the restaurant. Could you tell us, please, a little bit what kind of music will it be? Is it just background type music, or?
Yes, it's just ambient music in the background, so it will be a piano music, maybe a very low. We wouldn't want that to overtake the environment of our customers and the dining experience.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I just have a couple of questions. Obviously, you will have seen that there has been some objections, and the things that people are mainly objecting to, of course, is noise, particularly when people are arriving or more importantly, perhaps leaving. Can you tell me what measures you would be taking to make sure that your customers leave perhaps not too high and enthusiasm, and what they will do as regards the parking and the shutting of the doors, etc.?
Okay, yes. So, well, I'll first start off with the design of the building and the shutting of the doors. So the doors are automatically will close behind all of our customers, and to make sure that the noise, obviously, that any noise of any customers within the building stays within the building. We've also have a telephone service in place whereby we can call a taxi if a member of the public is disabled, and again, they can wait indoors. The taxi may pull up outside, and the person be contacted while they're in the restaurant to let them know that the taxi is here waiting for them. So we do have a reception area for that. With regards to the parking, yes, it is double yellow lines outside, and with obviously having the drinks licence in place, we wouldn't be wanting to promote any use of vehicles coming towards the restaurant. Ideally, we would expect people to be dropped off, or they will take public transport within the area.
Are you intending to have signs up in the restaurant to ask people to be considerate when leaving?
Absolutely. We want to make sure that people understand that it is not just a resident, it's commercial area and a residential mixed, but to us it's imperative that the residents are happy with the look and the sound and the environment of the restaurant. We want them to enjoy this, but equally we want also, if somebody comes from outside of the village, to understand that we are a quiet located village. And the client base in particular, and the reason why we chose it to be a fine dining restaurant, will be of an older age group. We won't be having draft beers on for sale. We will be selling wine and bottled ale, if at all, the bottled ale. So ideally, we do want to promote all the objectives, and also focusing on an older clientele as opposed to a young clientele in the casual dining scene.
Thank you. Upstairs, do you have air conditioning? Can I ask you?
Well, the building's not been completed yet. I haven't put forward air conditioning. The upstairs is just one side of the upstairs is going to be used. The other side is offices and a store room.
I'm just thinking about if you had the windows open in the summer evenings and you maybe got the music on, and you know, obviously if you've got air conditioning, there's no need to open the windows. I was wondering what you'd looked at for that.
Well, with regards to air conditioning, it could be something that we considered putting in place if that was at all necessary. However, when we did apply for the restaurant planning, they didn't put forward that that was necessary at the time. However, it is, with regards to sound and noise, something that we can consider and use a portable system. And I have used a portable system in some of my other premises, my shop premises, and that is something that is quite adequately installed.
Thank you. I'm going to ask now, Mrs. McLaughlin, if there's anything that you would like to ask.
Would there be seating outside at the back at some stage?
Mrs. McLaughlin, may I ask, just while we're here, and this is obviously to all the panel as well, I appreciate that the neighbours are interested in the actual restaurant itself. However, Miss McLaughlin says she resides at the commercial property next door. It is commercial in its entirety next door. So at this point here, I'm really confused at how we've been allowed a representation to come forward when she does not reside next door or even on the street. I just thought I would mention that and put that forward to, I wouldn't want this to be a vexatious situation here.
Well, anybody can object.
Yeah,
according to anybody can accept or obviously object, but when you're stating in the information that she resides on Blackburn Road, which she doesn't, it just concerns me, that's all. Now I can answer any questions, because if she was representing a neighbour, I'm so happy to represent ourselves in that manner. However, the information that's been put forward to me, this lady doesn't reside on Blackburn Road, so I'm a little bit confused. Can
I just interrupt you there, Ms. Argentino? Obviously, as has already been stated, anyone can object, and it is up to us as a panel to look at whether or not we feel that objection is valid. But in all fairness, it is at the moment Mrs. McLaughlin's turn to ask you questions. And so you may well wish to ask Ms. McLaughlin questions when she presents her reasons.
Absolutely.
But at the moment, she's asking you. Thank you.
Okay.
Mrs. McLaughlin, have you any questions you would like to ask?
It's we just want to know whether people are going to be eating, smoking, drinking outside either the front or the back, as it creating a lot of noise.
Okay. Again, just to let you know, we haven't applied for the, as stated on the application, we've most certainly not applied for the drinks licence to allow us to be serving alcohol outside the premises. That was something that I didn't want to do. I wanted to keep, obviously because of the neighbourhood and way it is, Thomas Edgerton, that's across the road, they do have an outside drinks licence, but it's not on the front of the premises. So I didn't think that would be in line really with the neighbourhood and how it wouldn't be, and I have to say, it wouldn't be conducive to the residents within the neighbourhood. So no, there'll be nobody outside the back area. That's a fact.
Nobody eating or drinking, right? Okay. What about smoking?
We're going to be no smoking on the premises. We're not allowed to smoke. I mean, the majority of people these days do not tend to smoke in restaurants.
Right. Okay. When do you plan to open?
Well, with the COVID-19 situation being as it is, it has delayed some of the building works, although majority of it is finished now, so it will be before Christmas.
Where do you think the customers will park? The parking is quite a huge issue in the area.
Right, okay. Again, with the premises licence in place, and of selling alcohol, I wouldn't expect them to be driving to the premises. So that wasn't really at this stage a major consideration for me, as the planning has already been passed for the restaurant either way. So the restaurant without a premises licence, more people would want to park there. With the premises licence in place, less people will want to be parking. They'll be using public transport more.
So Bedford Street and the main street, Blackburn Road is very busy in the evenings. There's virtually no spaces, and obviously the pub has put things in place, so you only want his customers parking there, which is fair enough, and no residents either.
Are there any further questions, Mrs. McLaughlin?
Is there anything else? I mean, it was just the music all day, every day. We don't really know how loud it's going to be until you're actually open, and the alcohol's going to be served all day, every day as well. And the fans.
So you've no further questions?
Oh, right, okay.
So you've no further questions? Right.
What, sorry, just a minute.
I don't know. We've just got a few other concerns, but I suppose.
Well, you'll be able to say though. I'm just going to come to you now, Mrs. McLaughlin, for you to give your reasons why you're objecting, and that way, obviously, then Mrs. Argentino or ourselves may wish to ask you some questions about that. So, if you would like to now say the reasons why you've objected, and whether or not you think that there are things that could be perhaps put forward to help the situation or not, if there's anything you feel that any conditions that could be imposed, you've got an opportunity to say that if you wanted to. Thank you.
Do you want to anything further then?
Well, the trouble is though, people will still order taxis and still stand outside and things like that.
Can I just, excuse me, but I just say, I don't know whether you've got somebody with you, but we really only need one person speaking at a time, please.
Okay, that's okay.
So, Mrs. McLaughlin, do you want to present your reasons on behalf of the other residents?
It's just that the noise of the taxis isn't pulling up and other people pulling up. We were concerned about people smoking and drinking, outside at front and back. The smells of the kitchen, the food, the noise of the cutlery and stuff, and the parking as well. Oh, and the extractor as well, the smell from the extractor.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll just ask Councillor Morris and Councillor Newell if they have any questions on what you've put forward, just for clarification, perhaps. Councillor Morris?
No, thank you.
Councillor Newell?
No, thank you, Chair.
Can I just ask, you've mentioned a number of things there, Mrs. McLaughlin, about things that you haven't actually put in your letter of objection. I'm just looking at your letter of objection, and it tends to be more on noise, that you feel that there will be a lot of noise. Is that, and you have put that there are lots of smells which will be bad enough without drunks and music. Actually, that's Mrs. Blackledge's. Yours may not say that. I'm just wondering, do you feel, why you feel that this restaurant is going to be doing loud music and having drunks about Have you had a very bad experience of some sort with,
Well,
with other premises?
On the other side is the Airbnb, and we have a lot of issues with them as well, being outside, you know, congregation and stuff. I've had quite a few issues with that, and it's just what people do when they've had a few drinks. They're quite loud. They come outside, they're smoking and, you know, shouting and so on.
Right. Okay.
But we, you know,
sorry. Yeah. I was just also wondering, I don't know whether you're aware that conditions can be set, things like, you know, making sure that the windows are kept closed so that the music can't be transmitted outside, that people are not allowed to be outside drinking and that sort of thing. Are you aware that conditions could be put on this licence?
No.
And would you feel any differently if you felt that there were conditions about that sort of thing, that people were not allowed to be drinking outside, or that, you know, the windows are to be kept closed? Would that make any difference to how you feel?
No. Will there be opening the back up at all? You know, letting people sit out the back?
No, we won't.
I
just wanted to confirm that we won't be doing that at all. No, it's
Right.
not for us. The garden area at the back, for one, it's not large enough, and we wouldn't. That's exactly why we did not apply for an outdoor premises license as well. It wasn't in our interest to be doing that.
Okay.
Right, I don't have any further questions, Mrs. McLaughlin, but obviously Mrs. Argentino may wish to ask you a question about what you've said, and maybe to give you some reassurance possibly. But you must understand, this isn't, Mrs. Argentino in particular, it's not an invitation to have a ding dong about this. You know, you are really just there to ask questions about the information that Mrs. McLaughlin has put forward. So if you've got any questions, any comments?
Well, yes. Obviously, we've had two representations, and I'm not quite sure whether or not one of them is online or can hear me at all.
Right, but just remember, you're asking them questions. You're not making a statement. Yeah. You'll have to, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not making a statement. No, I didn't know whether or not Mrs. Anne Blackledge was on. Obviously, there's more than one person in the room with Mrs. And I know that obviously they are friends. So I didn't know whether she was there, and I could, if she had any questions at all, I'm more than happy to answer them for her if she has any concerns. The only thing I'm not making any statements. It was just a question that Mrs. McLaughlin put forward, that she was concerned about the evenings while she was sat in at home. When she says she sat in at home, it is, am I right in saying, Mrs. McLaughlin, that it's a commercial property next door? Exclusive commercial property?
No.
Sorry, I just put the question forward. Am I right in saying to Mrs. McLaughlin that the property next door is a commercial property in its entirety? Hello?
You can say that you don't wish to answer that.
I don't wish to answer that, thanks.
Right, and I think that's been made quite clear, Mrs. Argentino, that Mrs. McLaughlin doesn't wish to answer.
Okay, well, it was important to me because I had designed the restaurant on that, on the fact that she had put forward a objection to the restaurant, and we had soundproofed all the walls on that left-hand side just for her peace of mind. Although with it being, and I wanted to put that forward, so for her peace of mind, right.
You know, well,
it is soundproof.
That's fine. That's fine. Obviously, if she doesn't wish to answer that question, then if there are any other questions that you wish to ask of Mrs. McLaughlin.
Okay. Well, it was mainly aiming at the fact that it was a commercial property, and if she doesn't want to answer whether she lives there or not, then that's I finished with the questions.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Right, well, I think we have all found that we've got enough information now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back round to everyone to ask if there are anything they wish to add. It isn't an opportunity for people to make further speeches. It's really just for you to sum up perhaps the important parts of your statements. So is there anything that you would like to add, Miss Klein? I don't think there will be, but I'll ask anyway.
Trish, you're on mute.
Sorry, my apologies, my audio keeps dropping out. Just to say, obviously, sorry, the options for the committee to consider are outlined on page 7.
Thank you. Thank you. Now then, Mrs. McLaughlin, is there anything that you would like to add? This is your opportunity to just finish your statement.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, we don't know how the noise is going to be until it's actually open. So
no.
At the moment, so yeah, I think we've discussed everything.
Okay. Thank you for that. And now, Mrs. Argentino, we always give the applicant the last word. So if you would like to add anything that you feel that you'd not mentioned previously, but as I say, it's not an opportunity to have a large speech. It is just to catch up.
That's absolutely fine. I'm hoping that the restaurant will bring employment to the area, and the many locals will enjoy. It is a detached residence from an actual residential property. That's all I'd like to put forward. But thank you so much.
Right. Well, thank you for that. We are now going to ask you all to leave, and Councillor Morris and Councillor, get your name right now, Debbie. You all will be remaining with us, along with our Democratic Services Officer and our Legal Officer, and we will come to a decision. And we will let you know within 5 working days of the decision that we've come to. So thank you all very much for coming along or attending this meeting. I know they're not that easy. It's very difficult when we can't see each other, but I think we've all done as well as we could under the circumstances.
Thank you very much. Thank you.